Hey there, welcome back to the table. We're getting ready to start turn 2 of Trench Club. And the AI goes first, so Austria would be next. And the thing that, just a quick rule reminder. So with the way these forts work, we moved ourselves to be positioned near the fort. It takes a full movement action, meaning you have to be standing in front of the fort at the start of your turn in order to take a fort. And anybody who's in the fort at the time that it's taken is automatically killed. So there is no battle, there's no nothing. It's as simple as you move up to a fort, you end your turn, the next turn you move into the fort using your full action to take it. So it's like a 2-turn thing. So you always have a warning that it's going to happen. All right, so we're going to move to Austria-Hungary. And the cardinal rule is they're always going to move to take a fort, or they're actually going to conquer a fort or move to take a fort. That's if they're within 2 spaces. So, and that's exactly the situation here. So Austria-Hungary is going to take a fort with this guy. He's right here at an entrance. Any of these 4 spaces are around that entrance. So Austria-Hungary goes in, and I didn't even punch all the pieces here. And let's punch one. I think the best way to represent this is to put their token on, like so. Okay, so they have 1 fort. All right, and then we go to this guy. Well, he's 2 spaces away from that one, but that's not doing him any good. So we're going to have to wait and let the AI decide where he's going to go, because he's not near any fort. But we have 2 more forts that are going to get taken. So they are going to get 3. And it's these 2. So I'm going to punch 2 more. And this one are both conquered. And while they're in the fort, they can't shoot or do anything. So they got to leave the fort. Leaving the fort does not lose ownership. So once the fort's taken, you can come back out. But obviously they have to wait until next turn to be able to do so. So Austria did all the infantry stuff that it can do. So now we're going to roll our die and see what happens. And I rolled a 4. So a 4 is reconnaissance. So troop transport truck first. So here we go. Foot soldiers that are 2 hexes away from a neutral or your fort. That means me, not Austria. They'll move to try to take our fort. So we did all of that. Okay. Troop transport. They're going to repair or transport all eligible infantry and artillery towards the nearest neutral your fort. So we can't do that. He's got nobody to transport. So then we move left, and he's going to move towards the second nearest cluster of transportable units, which would be the unit that's in the fort. And that makes sense. That's a move I would do. And I have to pause real quick. My dog is sitting on my cord, so I got to coax her to move. Otherwise, I can't move my camera. 1 second. Okay, so the cord has been William Wallaced. And now we come up to here, and the transport moves 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. So now he's, the second closest. So this was the closest group. That's the second closest. So he'll be able to transport him next turn, which that's actually a really good deal. Okay, foot soldier. Attacks your artillery, or the anti-tank gunner moves within range of your tank. Well, the only foot soldier that's available is this one. And he's nowhere near our artillery, although he's close. Let's see how much movement he has. 2. He can move 1, 2. He's actually just 1 space away, because this is our closest artillery to him. So what's he going to do next? He's going to move into the forest. So we could do that. So boom, he moves into the forest. you could argue that he should move into a forest that's closer to a fort. And I'm going to make that decision because we're always supposed to not do stupid moves. Moving into a forest is never a stupid move, but moving into that one might be. So let's move towards an actual fort. So he has 2 movement points. So a forest costs 1.5 though. That's the issue. And you can see here, he can't get into that forest over there. It's too far away. It's going to cost him, a whole half point to get here, and then a point to go there. That's 1.5, and he only has a half point left. So actually, the only forest he can get into is this one. So we'll go ahead and do that. That's an interesting conundrum there. I don't like that, but that is the only forest he can move into. So we will stick to it. It does make him harder to kill. That part is true. Okay, next. Now, 1 second. You might be wondering, what does the enemy do to purchase units? You can see here, the enemy will repair a unit on the same turn that it enters a fort. And that's only when it gets the repair order. After doing any repairs, roll a die to see if the enemy purchases any new units. If the die roll is greater than the number of war bonds it has, the enemy will not purchase any new units. Otherwise, it automatically purchases the single most expensive new unit it can afford. And then you would just rinse and repeat. And it may not possess any more than 2 units of any type, so you'd use the second miniature. If it has 2 units eligible for repair but can't afford them, it repairs the most. So that's what it would do when it finally does have money. It doesn't at the moment. Okay, let's keep going. Reconnaissance. Artillery. Move within range and attack your truck. That's what happened last time. We rolled this exact same number last time. So now it's going to move within range and attack. Well, hold on. We do have 1 truck. But yeah, they're not going to be able. Move within range and attack your unit with the second highest hit number. So, hit number. I'm assuming that means hit. You know what? That is not hit points. That is actually the ability to hit. So they're going after like your veterans. So this is going to be quite a calculation. First off, let's find their artillery. We got 1 here, which this is a mortar, and it has a range of 5. Minimum range of 2. And it can only move 1 space. Now, 5 spaces away from this guy. 1, 2, 3. He can for sure hit that. But if he moves like 1 space like that, he can then hit here, here, any of these really. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't hit that one. He can hit that. So which one has the highest hit? The mortar has a 3, the howitzer is a 3, the infantry is a 2. So actually he doesn't need to move at all. He would just stay here, and in fact he would move backwards because their role is they always stay maximum range possible to hit their target. So he's going to shoot 5 spaces away and target this. So put a little symbol there. So artillery attacking artillery again. Next is their howitzer, and that one will attack the French tank, which is right next to it, because that French tank has a hit of 5. So it's going to do that, and then we have the poison gas launcher, which is this guy. Hits the target hex and the adjacent 6 hexes, friend or foe, but not itself. So that's an interesting one. He shoots 1 to 3 away. That's an extremely interesting one. The French tank, of course, it wants to hit, but you can see there it'll hit everybody around it too, including himself. His range is 1 to 3. Yeah. We could try to go after the British tank. Let me check. That one has an attack value of 4. The French have an attack value of 5. So the French tank is the best. Oh, but remember, we said you always move in to be out of range. So the howitzer can only shoot 3 spaces away minimum. So he can't hit the French tank, but he has 2 movement points. So let's make sure he's 3 spaces away. So yes, he's on a road. So there's 1 movement point right there, and there's 3 spaces. And he has a range of 4 actually. So he'll use his second movement point to go there, and now he's 4 away and can hit there. Then this one is the one that's 3 range. His movement is 2, and yeah, he'll go 1 like that, and now both of them can attack the tank. This anti-aircraft may possibly take some damage though. That's an interesting AI thing. Okay, artillery is done. Tank and armored car is going to attack our tank or armored car, whichever one's closest. So their tank and armored car are right next to each other here. They both have a movement of 4. Nope, the tank has a 3, armored car has a 4. So where's our tanks? Well, we have tanks up there. So if this thing went 1, 2, 3, yep, he'll be able to attack our tank, and then the armored car can move 4. So 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, he can do it. Yeah, and they're going to get a surround bonus. So the armored car is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and now they're going to get like a little flanking bonus on him. Holy cow, so he's being attacked by 1, 2, 4 units. There's 4 attacks on him. Jeez Louise. And I don't know enough to tell you that that's overkill. Because those artillery could miss on all their hits. But, okay. And the tank is actually hard to take down. All right, what's next? They move their tank. Their fighter aircraft will attack our truck. There is no truck. So it attacks your units in range with the highest hit number, which again is a tank, typically. That French tank with the attack of 5 is getting a lot of attention because it's definitely one of the higher ones. The regular tanks, though, get a 6. So actually, he wants to go after a regular tank. So there is one over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll put a token there. And yeah, he'll attack that tank. And then last but not least, the anti-aircraft unit will move towards being within 3 hexes of our aircraft. And their anti-aircraft unit is up there, and he will move. He only needs to move 1 space to be able to attack us here. And we'll put a token down. All right, so that puts us at the end of at least their movement portion, and now we get to do the attacks. So let's start with this mortar. It's going to attack there. And it is completely undamaged, so it gets to roll full dice. And it hits with a 3 or less. All right. This one was a hit. And so is this one. So there's 2 hits. They were both 1s, I believe. Okay, and then that's going after our mortar. So 2 hits would do 1 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the damage on now. Actually, we don't get to shoot back. So yeah. So 1 damage to us, and then another experience point for their heavy mortar. So didn't show it quite well, but yeah, we took a damage. They got an experience. Okay, next up. Let's do their airplane attacking our tank. Their airplane has 1, 2, 3, 4 damage on it. And in fact, let me look again. Their airplane would have tried to repair He has no money, so he can't repair. And the repair only happens if they have to have 4 or 5 damage. So he has enough damage to do the repair, but there's no money to do the repair. So, yeah, so we would skip it. Let's go ahead and attack. All right, airplane attacking the ground is a 2 or less. He's actually got a really good roll here, considering the odds. He did 3 hits. So our tank is not in the forest, I don't think. So 3 hits on a tank is 1 damage. And that hurts. That means he's rolling less dice. And then the airplane gets another experience, and da-da-da-da! We get our first yellow. So the airplane is now at yellow. Which means that instead of rolling a 2, he would roll a 4 or better to hit. Okay, next. Our airplane is being attacked by their anti-aircraft, and their anti-aircraft is full strength. So let's roll, and the anti-aircraft shoots and hits with a 4 or less. So he's going to get some hits in here. 4, in fact. So 4 hits on our plane. Our plane at 4 hits takes 2 damage. And the plane in question is the British one. So 2 damage. And he's pretty damaged. Then 1 more experience for their aircraft. I do love the dials, or the little, dial rods, but they are a little cumbersome to put on initially, but they are very helpful when you're looking at the board. Okay, next. Let's see, we did the plane. I got to remember to remove the tokens or I'll end up doing the battle twice. Next is the French tank getting pummeled. So we got 4 different attacks going on. The French tank's only involved in 1 of them. So playing for what's best for the AI would attack that French tank with everything else, and then the one where the tank gets to fire back would be last. Actually, 2 of them would be last. So that means the 2 artillery would go first. So we're going to start with the howitzer. Howitzer hits with a 3 or less. All right, there's actually quite a few hits here. 1, 2, 3. Actually, only 3. But 3 against this French tank is 1 damage. So that's going to reduce the number of dice that tank is going to get to roll. And another experience for a gun. So now the gas one's attacking, and it hits with a 3 or less. But it hits everything around it, which does include 2 Austrian tanks. So this is interesting. All right, 1. So again, 3 hits make it through. So the French tank is going to take 1 damage. That's its 3rd damage. It's halfway dead. Okay, and then an experience point for the special unit. And then, unfortunately, those 3 hits also hit the other 2 tanks. So that's 1 damage to the Austrian tank, and then 1 damage to the Austrian car. I'm not sure how much I like that gas thing. I think it's really bad for the AI to have that. So we just did 1 damage to these other units. That's going to reduce how much dice they get to roll. Maybe we should have done the gas unit last. Okay, so now we do the tank battles. So we're going to do the armored car first. I think that would make sense. Armored car has 1 damage, so it's going to roll 11. We have 3 damage, so we're going to roll 8. So take 1 die away, and 4 dice away for the French. The armored car hits with a 4 or less. The French tank hits with a 5 or less. All right. We're getting really lucky here. Oh, these last 3 though are hits. So 3 hits on the French tank, which is going to be 1 damage. We know that. And we actually did get a good roll here. There's another 1 and a 1, so we got 5 hits in. Okay, so we know that's 1 damage on us, which puts us to 4 damage. That's getting bad. But we do get an experience point for it. But so do they. Okay, and then we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. And for an armored car, 5 hits is enough for 2 damage. And their armored car is now up to 3 total damage. Okay, and then now the last attack is their tank on us. Now their tank has 2 damage. So with 2 damage, they only roll 10 dice. So I'm going to take another die out. And then they get to roll all theirs. Now we took another damage, so we go from 8 dice down to 7. So I need to take 1 more out for us. So we've lost 5 dice now. Now I forgot 1 key rule that I was reminded of. If you're in this kind of configuration, that's a flank attack. They get to roll 2 extra dice. If they're surrounding in this situation or that one, they get to roll 3. And they are not surrounding because that anti-aircraft is no longer next to them. I don't think the fort counts. So we're going to give them the flank bonus. So I got to roll 2 extra dice for that last attack. And they were both thankfully a miss, so I don't have to retcon anything. But those 2 are going to get added in, and those go along with the attacker dice, which is bad for us because they hit with a 6 or a less. And we hit with a 5 or a less. I think we're going to get some damage in, but I also think we're going to get destroyed. This isn't good. All right, so let's start moving some dice. Oh my gosh, they hit with everything here. The 2 red dice don't matter, but everything else is a hit for them. There, that's all hits. So they hit with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dice. And we hit with 2. So thankfully our 2 is going to at least damage him once. So we sort of go down with a little bit of a fight. But 5 hits, or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. That's 4 damage. Our tank is destroyed. So this tank is destroyed. Oh, France is getting pummeled. So that means 2 experience for their tank. And they actually are getting yellow. 2 yellow, in fact. So 2 yellows are going on for the Austrians here. And that ends the Austrian turn. Okay, so Austrians are playing a little bit tough up there. And we've got to use things like artillery or whatever so we can, when you have those units that are getting into veteran status, it's not real good to take them on head on because they're going to, so he was hitting with a 6 or less. Now he hits with an 8 or less, so his dice rolls are going to be even better. But he at least has 3 damage now, which means he only gets 8 dice. So that's at least a little bit helpful. Okay, the French are next. So he just finished beating up on the French. Now the French get to go. Let me think about what I want to do, and I will show you the situation here. And we'll figure out what to do here. Actually, I already know what we're doing for the most part. So we're going to take that fort, and then the other one is going to take the other fort, which is here, and we lost our 3rd infantry to artillery, but we'll at least take 2 forts. Austrians, as you know, took 3, and the French have already lost 1, 2. They've already lost 3 units, so they don't have that much on the field. And then what they do have on the field is stuck in the middle of the forest there, although it looks like their artillery was left alone this time. So I think what I want to do is the Austrians are ticking me off as the French. So I think I want to move my artillery. And you can see here that the artillery, they get no bonus in the forest. Everything else gets a bonus in a forest. The artillery don't. So the one unit that's stuck in the forest is the one unit that doesn't really benefit much from it. So let's play this out. I want to take out their tank up there that's got the veteran status. And so let's start with the mortar. The mortar has a range of 5. Okay, I know you can't quite see the tank. It's right here. Actually, yeah, you can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can move 1 space, so I'm going to just go ahead and move to there. And then I'm in perfect range to take that out. And I'm actually going to do the same thing. I don't have to call it until later, but I'm going to at least lay out my plan. Now the howitzer shoots 4 spaces, but it moves 2. My issue is this is 1.5, and that would be 2. Then I can shoot 1, 2, 3, 4. I can still hit something. Or I can just hit something that's over here. Like I can just stay where I am and try to hit one of these German units. That's not a bad call either. Because they do have an artillery here I can try to shoot at. Not the worst thing in the world. But I sort of want to take out their anti-aircraft if I can. Although, yeah, it's probably not the biggest threat to me. It's a threat to my airplanes, yes, but not much else. So, yeah, I'm going to just stay where I am. And then, of course, now I could try to shoot at this artillery over here, which is getting some decent experience. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, can't get there. Well, actually I can. 1, 2. And now I can shoot at that one. That one, I think I want to hit more than this field gun. Although the field gun actually has a better to hit. It hits with a 3. No, they both hit with the same. So yeah, I'm going to go for that heavy mortar. My anti-aircraft gun has multiple choices. There's 2 planes right next to each other. This one has no experience at all. So I'm going to go after this one, which is the veteran. And I'm 3 spaces away. So let's go ahead and try to finish him off. And then my tank is right here. This is a big heavy tank. It does have 1 damage. But yes, I'm going to go after their artillery. And that's part of the reason why my other artillery didn't try to. So let's see if we can finish off that field artillery. And then as far as my scout car goes, I'm going to turn around and surround the field artillery. So now we're going to do massive damage to it. And so he's going to be attacked twice. I would have loved to have gone next to that artillery and still attacked the other armored car, but that wasn't in the cards. Last but not least is the plane. And my plane has 2 damage. I sort of want to stay away from anti-aircraft guns. They got the one up there. The Germans' anti-aircraft gun is where? Oh yeah, it went after me over here. So I don't want to shoot at their anti-aircraft gun. I'm thinking of coming over here and attacking their infantry. So try to harass the ones that are trying to get into the, into the fort. But I could also try to harass their artillery. Now, their anti-aircraft gun can move within range again, so I got to be careful. But like, for example, taking this guy out would be pretty sweet. Sorry about that. My kids were coming home. Dog gets excited. That's the way it always works. Okay, I'm trying to decide what to do with my plane. What I'm trying to do is get away from their anti-aircraft, right? So they have one here, and that one actually is the most deadly. That one, of course, prevents me from going that way. I want to go after these artillery down here, but this is so close that he'll still be able to get me. So what I'm going to do is try to take out their planes. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And in doing so, I'm able to attack All right, welcome back. Gosh, I had to take a break, and now I don't remember where I was. Let's see. We just did the plane attack, I believe, and we did 1 damage to this. So now we got to resolve the rest. So let's do this field gun here. Let's finally get a kill. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. I'm going to go with the tank first. And artillery does not fire back because they don't have a close combat value. They don't have a range of 1. So we do surround them. The tank has 1 damage. So I do get 1 of my dice back. I have 1 die that's out. But because we have them surrounded, we get 3 red dice instead of 2. And the condition for surround is being on both sides of a unit, which in this case, I specifically made sure we are. So it is possible my armored car won't get any experience, but that's okay. I want to get it for the tank. So let's roll for the tank. Tank hits for 6 or less, and I had a bad roll. I mean, there's all kinds of misses here compared to what the other guy did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or this isn't a hit. Neither is this. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is all I got out of that. So, geez Louise. Now, it is definitely going to hit the thing. So that part's good. The howitzer with 4 hits actually takes 2 damage. So that part's good. That means less dice for the howitzer. Or field gun, doesn't matter. So there's 2 hits on him. But it's only 1 experience for us. So we're a long way from having a veteran tank here. All right, so that's one of the hits. The other one is going to be our armored car. So armored car is going to get some action. Armored car has 3 damage, so it's going to lose 3 dice. It only gets 8, so we have to take 2 away. No, 4 away. So it dropped by 2 more, but we do get all 3 red dice. And the armored car hits with a 4 or better, 4 or less, I mean. So let's see if he does any better. So far, no. Although the 2 red dice look like a hit. Yeah, so he did about the same. So he got 4 hits in, which is actually 2 more damage onto the artillery. And 4 damage on the artillery is really good. Why is it good? If you look at the damage chart, 1 damage reduces the dice by 1. 2 damage reduces it by another 1. By the 3rd damage, it's going up by 2. And then the 4th, it goes up by, well, I guess another 1. And then another 2. So really that 3rd damage is critical because you get rid of 2 dice there. But we're getting rid of 5 total dice, having it down to 7. So that helps because that's 5 less dice that are going to potentially hit you. And before I forget, we need to get experience, and we now finally have our first veteran unit. Like so. So that armored car would hit with a 6 or less in the future if it can survive. It's pretty damaged itself. Now let's do the anti-aircraft against this. Our anti-aircraft has 3 damage, so that means we're down to 8 dice. And it hits with a 4 or less. And we got some beautiful roll here. So this is a hit. These 2 are hits. So we got 4 hits in, and that's fantastic. This plane of theirs is pretty damaged. So 4 hits is 2 damage to the plane. And their plane is this guy right here. And you can see he already has 4 damage, so 2 more is a kill. So we just killed a veteran unit. And that was big, because we didn't want that veteran unit going around harassing us. So that is 2 experience points for our anti-aircraft, which is damaged, but now he's going into the yellow. So from here, he actually hits with a 6 or better. And the German plane is right next to him. So he's positioned to do something good. We'll just see if he really does. And then last but not least, we have an artillery going after their veteran tank over here. And it's our mortar with 1 damage on our mortar. So that means we get all of our dice but 1. And mortars hit with 3 or less. So 1 hit is all we got, just 1. And I'm not sure that's enough to dent the tank. You need 2. So no damage to the tank. That means no experience for us. So that blows. I would have, well, a 3 or less is hard, but I would have expected we would at least gotten an experience point out of the deal. All right, so that's the end of the French turn. Currently, they're up 3 bunkers to 2. And then next up will be the Germans. We're at 30-some minutes. I guess we can keep going. Okay, so for the Germans, let's do the the primary rules. I'm going to punch out some, because I know they're going to take some bunkers. Okay, first things first, they're going to take this bunker right here. Let's try to... So this bunker taken. This bunker taken. And unfortunately, that's all they can do because the other infantry is right there. So now we got to roll for the AI. I rolled a 1. The Germans are going to regroup. So the troop transport truck is going to occupy a crossroad. It already does. The foot soldier is going to move into a forest. Done. The artillery is going to move within range and attack your foot soldier that's within 2 hexes of a fort entrance. First off, foot soldiers for us are in fort, so only the British ones are not in fort, and they're really far away. So that's not going to happen, even with their ridiculously long range. So move and attack your anti-aircraft unit. Now that might be possible, and that sort of blows, but okay, the first artillery unit is this one. He has a range of 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, yeah. He's going to be able to hit our... He's probably the one that hit it last time. So, but he's very damaged, so he'll at least have a reduced die roll. So there's 1. Where's our other anti-air? Yeah, it's pretty far away. These other ones, I'm not so sure about. The mortar has a range of 5, and that's this guy. And he moves 1 space, so the best he can do is move to here. And there's nothing for him to hit. These guys are just so far away from anything tangible. The Big Bertha is a range of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means that Big Bertha would have to get to here. And that's not going to happen. The tank is there. Big Bertha moves 1 whole space. So not going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the other anti-aircraft. And then their special unit only moves a half space. So, and then the truck's in the way. So he's not going to get to move at all. Attack your most damaged hittable unit. That is going to be doable. So the mortar may not be able to hit anything. So if it can move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it can't hit anything. This one can move only 1 space forward because the tank is in the way. It can move a half space here, but it can't go anywhere else. He can hit 7 spaces away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can hit this artillery. So that is Big Bertha target. And then this other one can hit 9 spaces away. However, he can't move at all. I mean, he can move like to here. Actually, I'm sorry. Look, we got targets over here. I didn't even think about that. So this one was here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He can hit any of those targets. So which one is he? Your most damaged, they're both the same. So I think we'll go after him. And I would say he would move a space away, but there is no way to go further away. So that's the maximum distance he can be at. So yeah, actually, because I was charging in on them, they do have targets. The Big Bertha still will go after the French artillery because the French artillery is the most damaged, and that was the rule. And yeah, we're good there. Tank or armored car is going to repair or attack your truck. You know what? I forgot. We could actually go in for repair, even though they have no money, because the repair happens after they collect their income. So tank or armored... My camera is... that's interesting. It's auto-zooming. So armored car has 4 damage, so it wants to repair. So we'll do that. So 1, 2, 3, and I need to... There's rules for us and there's rules for them. Like, it takes 3 turns to repair for us. You have to finish your turn outside of one. Then you have to spend a whole turn going in. And then that you can repair at the end of that turn. Or I'm sorry, it's not a whole turn going in. You can go in now because it's yours. It's just a half point or whatever to move in. The thing is you can't repair unless you start your turn inside the fort. The AI, though, gets to break that rule. They can repair right now. So when they make their money, they'll be able to repair this unit. That's the idea. So yes, he's going in for repairs. He very much needs it, and that's a bummer because we almost had it destroyed. And that's his turn. And then this tank here moves 3 spaces. So it's not going to attack the truck, of course. Going to attack your foot soldier that's more than 2 hexes from a fort. That's not happening. Participate in a flank or surround attack. I don't see that either. Attack a foot soldier near a fort. The other one was away from a fort. Nope. Attack your anti-aircraft unit. I don't even think that's possible. We're talking about this tank right here. The issue is he's so far away from everything. I think there's only one thing in his range. So for example, 1, 2, 3, nothing. 1, 2, 3, nothing. But he can do 1, 2, 3 and attack our artillery. And I don't even think we need to go through the AI chart. It's just, that's the only thing in range that he can even move to and attack. So he's going to do it. The tanks don't just sit still and do nothing. Okay, next. The fighter aircraft will attack your tank or armored car. Well, we're right next to it. So put one there. He's going to attack the tank. And then this one will gets a second. So that artillery is being attacked twice. And I forgot to remove this token. Lastly, the anti-aircraft unit, of course, will try to take out a plane. And their anti-tank aircraft unit's there. He has a movement of 4. So 1, let's see, 2, 3, 4, not close enough. Or 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. Oh, that's actually going to get him there. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. He can't move anymore, but look, he's 1, 2, 3 away. He could hit that plane. I thought for sure I moved that plane. Well, we attacked the armored car. We had to get close enough to be in range. That's a bummer. And so yeah, we're gonna get attacked here, and that's it. So let's do some resolution here. So their anti-aircraft is still at full strength. That's not good for us. Hits with a 4 or less, and he rolled really well. 4 hits. So 4 hits on a plane is 2 damage. So we just took 2 more damage on our French plane, and the French are just getting clobbered. It's like World War II instead of World War I. Although I think in World War I they got pretty clobbered too. Okay, so that attack's done. This plane is going to attack that tank, and it's full strength. So the Germans are very full strength right now. The plane hits with a 2 or less. Oh my gosh, they got 4 hits in. So 4 hits against the tank is still only 1 damage. But the French are getting pummeled. Experience point for the plane. And I forgot to do an experience point for an aircraft unit. Okay, next, their artillery has no damage. It's their mortar, actually, going against our artillery. 3 or less. %, missed. So nothing happened to our artillery. And more importantly, they didn't get the experience they wanted. He would have been a veteran. I'm talking about this guy right here. Or I'm sorry, Big Bertha. Oh, it's Big Bertha. Crap. That's a different set of rules. We got to see if Big Bertha even hits the target. I rolled a 6. Big Bertha misses the target. So the outcome is exactly the same. No damage. But it was possible that Big Bertha could have hit their own tank, which it did not. Okay, now their tank goes, and their tank is full strength. Now this one I'm really worried about. 6 or less hits. And there's 4, 5, 6. All right, see that 6 with the dot? That has to be a 9, so that means that's out. Boy, I didn't even think about that, how deceptive that would be. So the 6 has the dot, the 9 does not. And there we go, 3 hits on the artillery, and the artillery with 3 hits takes 2 damage. So we do take a step backwards there. Oh, I grabbed an experience. But the experience does go in their tank. Okay, so that attack is resolved. This one is the field artillery attacking us. Field artillery has 4 damage, so that means he only gets 7 dice. So here's 3, 4, 5, gets taken away. Hits with a 3 or less. He actually did 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. And the anti-aircraft takes 2 damage. He's up to 5 damage. He's barely intact. Look at it, it's all the way up to the top. He's got as much damage as possible. And he's our veteran, so we need to keep him alive. But he was doing so well. And, oh, we're not done yet. Now we got to do... So they got their mortar attack on our armored car and then their special unit attack on our tank. So let's do the mortar attack on the armored car. That hits with a 3 or less. And we got some hits here. Geez, we got 5 hits. So 5 hits on an armored car is 2 damage. And 1 experience for him. Two damage for the Brits. Okay, now we got to do the tank, and this is their special unit, which, as you can see here, hits with a 4 or less, and it doesn't matter anything else. A railroad artillery, and And I see some hits. And a lot of misses. So 3 hits on that one. And against the tank, that is just going to be 1 damage. And of course, 1 experience. Oh, that unit doesn't get experience. Their special unit doesn't take experience. So, okay, so that ends the German turn. So we're going to go ahead and now try to do the British turn real quick, and then finish up the round, and then that'll be it for the video. Just to reassess, here's the situation. So the Germans have taken 2 bunkers. The Austrians have taken 3, so they have 5 total. The French only took 2, but the British will be able to take 3, so we'll basically be tied. The French have lost 3 units. The Austrians have only lost 1, and I think that's it. So the AI is so far, quote unquote, winning. So I guess I can't make fun of it too much. Is it a fun game? I mean, of course it's fun. It's a beer and pretzels style game. You know, as people noted, since it's not very historical, there might be some people who shy away from it for that reason. I like a lot of other games more, but I still love the mechanics in this game. I even love these little lookup charts, the way they apply damage and stuff. There's so many things that's great about this game. I do wish this game was a little deeper. But for what it is, it's great. And the mechanics of it in a deeper game, like a D-Day Omaha Beach with some of these mechanics would be fantastic. I don't necessarily need to roll 100 dice, but you get what I mean. Okay. What are we going to do? Well, let's do exactly as the AI does. We'll take care of forts first. So I got to punch some pieces. So we're going to take the British, we're going to take that one. And then we're going to take that one and that one. Okay, that's our full turn for those guys. My my truck is going to stay there because I want to be able to transport that. I want to destroy the crap out of their artillery. So what can I do to surround or whatever? This guy moves 4 spaces. So 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3. I don't have enough to get into the forest, but I can at least get to there and try to take out their special unit. And then the tank moves 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3 is not enough. And that hurts. Because it's not like I'm just, within arm's reach. And the British are basically doing nothing this whole war so far. Yeah, nothing I can do about that. It's Just making a quick look. Yeah, they only have a range of 1. So yeah, I'm going to move in and I'm going to get pummeled some more. But that's okay. That's what I have to do. Okay, we got some artillery and some anti-aircraft. They have only 1 plane left. It's here. So we're going to try to move our anti-aircraft down to intercept that. But everybody else, I need to help the French here. So this guy moves 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would put me to there. That puts me in harm's way, to be quite honest. But I don't know what else to do. And the other thing I could do is move to there. So yeah, I will do that. I'll move to there. How about that? Now the artillery here, this one has a range of 3 and moves 2. So 1, is all I need to move, and then with a range of 3, I can go after their gas gun. Although the gas gun, to be quite honest, is not my biggest threat because he hits himself. So I'm going to go ahead and move again and go after their howitzer. Now this guy can only move 1 space, so we move 2 more spaces. He has a range of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. He is just... Did I move 2? Yeah, I did. He is just 1 space away from being able to hit somebody. And then we have this is our special unit, this tank here, which is like a lighter tank. Don't necessarily want to go up against the heavier tank. But I do have a bit of an issue because his movement points are 3. This would be a half. This is 2.5, 3, and that's all he can do. So that's all he was able to do. And I'm going to probably just attack the anti-aircraft just to get some experience. I could go after their veteran tank. I'm just a little worried. Now, my plane, it'd be nice to go after their veteran tank with my plane, but then that puts me in harm's way with their anti-aircraft. Now, they have an anti-aircraft down here as well. The Germans do. So, what I think I want to do with my plane is I could also go after an artillery unit. And that's actually where my mind is going. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to be all the way down here, and we can go after either of those artillery units. I know you have to call it before the battle starts, so I would not go after Big Bertha. Big Bertha hurts, but it also misses, although he has 2 experience. Yeah, I guess I would go after Big Bertha. That's it for the Brits. It just feels like I have so many less units than they do, but it's not true at all. Okay, so let's do the armored car against their artillery. Armored car does have 2 damage, so we have to set 2 dice aside. Armored car hits with a 4 or less, and let's go. There's 2, 3, 4. So 4 hits, and on a, what the heck is it, their special unit, their railway gun, 4 is 2 damage. So that is really good because it reduces the number of dice they get to roll. And really it's damaging Germany where it hurts the most. Their artillery is their strength. And then 1 experience point for the armored car. Tank can't do anything. Our plane is going to go ahead and attack. It has 3 damage, so he only gets 8 dice. So 2 more dice gone. Plane only hits with a 2 or less. I do see 2 hits, which is good, considering how poor this roll was going to be. 2 hits on a mortar. It only does 1 damage. Mortar actually has a lot of armor. So 1 damage though on the mortar is still good. And 1 experience point for the plane. Okay, that's done. Anti-aircraft over there can't do anything. And then our tank, our field gun is going to go after their howitzer. So field gun is full strength. It hits on a 3 or less. Three hits. And 3 hits on a howitzer is 2 damage. Excellent. So that will hurt Austria. All right, so coming back up here, we get an experience. If I can line it up properly. Jeez Louise. And 2 damage for him. Okay, and then the last one is our tank against their anti-aircraft. Our tank is full strength, and this is the special tank. He hits with a 4, so it's not as good as a regular tank that hits with a 6. So, but let's see what we can do. And I see just 2 hits. That's it. So on an anti-aircraft gun, 2 hits is only enough for 1 damage. So I at least get an experience point. Otherwise, I'd be really upset. Okay, so that ends the round. Now, what comes next is income. And so, for example, Austria has 3 bunkers. So they're going to get 9 money. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 for Austria. Okay. They have no units in for repair, although I think one of them should have been, but I, implemented the rule at the time when I was doing the AI for them. So what they are going to do is they're going to purchase the best unit they can, or the most expensive unit they can. So the purchase price for the units are here. So for example, that's 5. This is 7 for an infantry, 9 for a cavalry. So 9 would be the most expensive. There's a 13, 10, 14, 13, 12, 17, 13, 17. So they would purchase a cavalry. So what they're going to do then is they're spending all 9 to buy cavalry. And they are allowed to have, as long as there's a miniature for it, they can do it. Otherwise, they won't buy more than 2. That's what I'm getting at. And here it is. So now, where does it go? It doesn't say. Obviously, they have to go into a fort, right? So we get to choose for it. And so, what would be the most advantageous for them? I honestly don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and put it with the other one. There. Like so. Okay. And it's not a threat of being taken or anything like that. Okay, next, let's do Germany. Germany has 2 of them, so they get 6. But Germany wants to repair an armored car. And an armored car repair, and I'm looking at the Austria one, it's all the same. The repair cost is 5. So Germany is going to get $1. And then, of course, they're going to keep that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on their sheet. And that's over there. So they have $1. Now, us, technically, you're supposed to keep the British and the French money separate. So we will do that. The French are going to get $6. And I'm using a different poker chip for them. So for the Allies, we're going to use these poker chips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, there is paper money that's included with the game where, by principle, you don't use the paper money. Paper money died when Monopoly died. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is for the French. We have nobody in for repairs. All those costs I just rattled off are the same. So, for example, I can replace the truck that I did, but that's the only thing I can afford. Everything is expensive in this game, ridiculously expensive. I do not want a truck for France. So France is just going to hold on to their money, which yeah, we're going to hold on to it because we have a lot of troops I think we're going to try to repair. And next we go to Britain, who has 3 bunkers. So they're going to get $9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so $9 for Britain, and they could buy something like a cavalry, which actually is not a bad idea because cavalry can let you take more forts. Now, granted, it doesn't, it's not your juicy other type of stuff like tanks, but being able to take more forts is pretty nice. I'm not going to do it though. I'm actually going to save my money as the Allies. I think I need it for repairs, potentially, or I want to buy maybe a juicier thing, like another tank. So yeah, I'm going to hold on to it. And that's it. It's the end of the round, and that's all you do. So with the way the AI works is, I forgot to almost, I got to remove the damage. Okay, the way AI works is, remember, you can only repair somebody who actually moved into the fort and was there at the start of your turn. The actual repair doesn't happen, though, until the income phase, which is what we're doing now. So there's some things you have to mentally keep track of, which is a little annoying, because if I would have stopped the video, disappeared for 3 days, and then came back, I totally would have not remembered. But that's okay. The AI cheats a little bit because the turn they move in is the same turn they can repair. So they get to break that rule. We have to be there at the start of our turn. The AI does not. Okay? So they'll be able to repair quicker and get back out. And I guess it's to, make up for the fact that they might make stupid moves like moving into the forest, and, we can take advantage of it and capitalize, etc. One thing I'm realizing I need to not forget is that the trenches, if you move into them, you can come out at any spot. And it's basically like if I'm in a trench, I can, basically the entire trench is my adjacency. I need to remember to use that. I don't think I've needed to use it yet, but it's coming up soon where that might be actually advantageous for me. Yes, I'm holding on to my money. I don't know if that's a good move or not, but for now, I don't see a reason to buy another cavalry at the moment. I know there's more forts to take, but I have other infantry out there that can just go do it. Lastly, the AI, getting back to that, they collect their money, they will do repairs first, and then after the repairs, they will buy something. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. They don't buy first and repair second. And if there's more than one unit that needs to be repaired, they repair the most expensive one first, if they can afford it, that they can afford. And if the other one still needs to be repaired, it will actually just stay in the fort to be repaired the next turn. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.